Hello, chess fans. Welcome to another edition of Chess Chat, a program brought to you live from the Workers' Credit Union studios at Fitchburg Access Television. I am George Marajanian, Program Director of the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. This club meets every Wednesday evening from 6 to 11 in room C159 in the McKay complex at the university. And with me today at the Fitchburg Access Television Production Center is once again our award-winning director, Darren Dame of Fitchburg. He's assisted in the control room by fellow resident and longtime Wachusett Chess Club member, Brian Bigelow. And sitting next to me is my trusty co-host, chess author, Wachusett Chess Club statistician, you name it, he's all of it. Dave Couture of Westminster.
Hi,
Dave.
George.
Hi, Dave. Well, Dave, we have a special guest tonight on a special 1-hour program of Chess Chat.
Yep.
We have the honor and privilege of having our own Carissa Yip, all the way from Andover, Massachusetts, who is here because she did something rather historic.
Yes.
She competed about 3 weeks ago in a major women's invitational tournament, which is billed in many places as the strongest women's chess tournament,
ever. Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Again, we can get documentation to prove this. But she played in that, and she beat the women's world champion. The women's world champion, her name is Zhu Wenjun of China, and Carissa, our own 2014 Wachusett Club champion.
We're claiming you, see?
You claim
our
right.
own.
Yeah, you are our own, yes. Once a champion, always our champion.
Exactly.
So we're very honored to have you here to present that game that you played in the second Cairns Cup. Now this tournament, called the second Cairns Cup, was named in honor of the wife of the person who really brought about the creation of the St. Louis Chess Club, where this tournament was held. The St. Louis Chess Club actually was created because the Rex Singfield and his wife, Dr. Jean Cairns Singfield, actually were our philanthropists. They have actually donated millions of dollars to various organizations that enhance music, arts, education. They've given a lot actually to university, St. Louis University, for example, where Rex Singfield got his undergraduate degree. That was the biggest donation to that university. They received $50 million from the Singfield Charitable Foundation. But his wife, he met his wife at the University of Chicago, where they were both pursuing an MBA degree.
Okay.
And then she got a doctorate. She's known as Dr. Jean Singfield because she has a doctorate in demography. Now, how many people study demography, which is the study of the size and populations,
Makeup of populations.
Right.
Yeah.
So she has a doctorate in that field.
Wow.
Yeah, but they're both fantastic people. They've done a lot for the arts, for music, educational institutions,
And chess.
And chess. Yeah. Absolutely. Remember, that foundation provided the seed capital for the creation of the St. Louis Chess Club, which was actually originally called the Chess Club and Scholastic Center of St. Louis. Most people know it as the St. Louis Chess Club.
Right.
And the most prestigious events are held at this tournament. It is actually the premier chess club in the country.
Yep.
Carissa is going to be back there, I think a month from now. April 9th is the start of the U.S. Women's Championship. So she's going to be back. You played how many times now already? Twice?
3 times.
3 times. All right.
Yeah.
So Carissa's now going to be contesting this year, once again, for the U.S. Women's Championship in St. Louis. But we should point out actually who won this tournament actually in the Cairns Cup. Carissa actually was the lowest rated. You were the only non-title. All the other players were all grandmasters. They all had full grandmaster titles. Carissa has the title of Woman Grandmaster, but she just recently was finally awarded the title of International Master by the World Chess Federation, known more commonly by FIDE.
Yep.
So that was done actually in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates. They had the the FIDE Congress, the 90th, and they officially made it. They awarded the title at that Congress. But Humpy Canero, a grandmaster from India, won the tournament, and she beat out the second place finisher, who happened to be the player that Carissa beat, the women's world champion, Ju Wen-jun. So
Made the difference.
It made a difference. Now, who actually came in? There was a tie for third and fourth. There was Alexander Kostanyuk. You know them. You got to be friendly with all of them, right? I mean,
Yeah. Sure.
Alexander Kostanyuk, I believe, lives in Florida, but plays for still plays under the Russian flag, which she plays in international competition.
Yes.
And then, what could you tell about Maria Muzichuk? She tied with Alexander. They both scored 5 points out of 9. But she's actually from Ukraine. She was the only Ukrainian in the event. Then you had actually, about Katerina Lagno, another Russian?
Another Russian.
She tied
she's married to Grishuk, actually.
Oh, oh, really?
Yeah.
She married Grandmaster Grishuk? Okay, I didn't know that. And how about now, is it Harika Dronavali? Okay, she's from India. Okay, and she gained a lot of she actually gained a number of points, a number of rating points from this event, I believe. Certainly, FIDE, I don't know about FIDE, but USCF, this was both FIDE rated and USCF rated.
Yeah, like her USCF was unusually low for her FIDE rating.
So it did go up. So she did gain USCF rating-wise.
Yeah, I think so.
And how about now this player, this grandmaster, Nana Zagnidze from Georgia? Yeah, you remember her? You played her?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And then, Irina. Now here's somebody you've beaten at least twice, maybe more.
Twice. I think, yeah.
Irina Krush, who was a former U.S. Women's Champion, who was the oldest player in the tournament, by the way, 36 years old.
Yeah.
Chris is only 16. She was the youngest. All the other players, by the way, were there were 2 of them in their late 20s, and most of them were in the early 30s to mid 30s.
Yeah.
There was nobody in the early 20s. There was a big gap between the 16-year-old Carissa going up to a 20. Who was the 27-year-old? I believe that was Muzichuk. Muzichuk was 27. So, and who was the one? Now here is what's interesting. You know who actually finished in last place that wasn't expected this year?
Right.
Was actually, what's her name? Valentina Gunina from Russia. She won this event last year, but this year she couldn't repeat what she did last year by winning the event. But we have Carissa here because she's going to present to us, help us understand her game against Grandmaster Ju Wen-jun, the women's world champion. This was from round 8, the next to last round. Okay, so this was a big upset.
Yeah. She was tied for first, wasn't she, going into
going into round 8, she was tied for first.
Tied for first, right? But losing this, and then she wasn't able to, I mean, what did she do in the last round? She won her last round game, but it wasn't enough, right?
Yeah, it wasn't.
So she finished in second behind Humpy Canero. All right, so in this game, Ju Wen-jun had white. And what did she play as her first move?
So she played E4.
Okay, let's see. We'll see E4 now graphically presented on our monitor here. Now, was this a surprise? Because I thought Ju was more of a D4 player. I think if you look actually at her database of games she's played, you'll find many more games where she played D4.
Yeah, definitely. But
did you expect her to play D4 or D4?
I was expecting D4, but I definitely prepped for E4 too. Just at these high level tournaments, a lot of them play both E4 and D4. Right. So.
All right. So how did you respond to her E4?
So I played E5.
Okay. All right, E5. Now, this is something which you used to play at the club years ago, but you're known as a Sicilian player. I mean, players know you as a lover of C5.
Yes.
But you have a big repertoire. I mean, you can play either E5 or the C5.
Yeah. People change.
You change. It's good to have.
So are you normally playing that now, or do you switch it up?
You switch. Probably switch.
Yeah, I switch it up. I'm just sort of expanding my repertoire in general.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah.
Yep.
All right, so what did Ju now do on her second move? She played?
She plays knight f3, attacking the
Okay.
pawn on e5.
Okay.
And then play knight c6 to protect it.
Okay, we see that now. We see the moves being played actually on our screen here. All right, so there's protection now. All right, so it's now White's third move. And what did she play, Dave?
This is probably the most common move in this position, bishop to b5. So attacking the knight that's guarding the pawn.
Now, what is this called? This opening has a name. How do you know it as?
The Re Lopez.
Ray Lopez. Does it have another name that most of the world call it?
What's the other name?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, most, that is, in the English-speaking world, when I started learning chess years ago, in the United States and England, or even in Australia, wherever English was spoken, this was known as the Ray Lopez opening.
Right.
But most of the rest of the world refers to this as the Spanish opening. It's known as the Spanish opening. So it has two names. Ray Lopez.
A little history for you.
Ray
I
Lopez was
remember
a
now.
16th century Spanish priest who wrote about chess, and so his name was attached to this. So now, but before we play Carissa's move, well, no, actually, let's play Carissa's move. What did Carissa play?
So played a6.
A6. Now, you're putting the question to White's bishop. The bishop has to make a decision.
Right.
Do we take the knight or do we treat the knight?
Right.
Yeah, and by the way, you know who actually recommended playing this A6 years ago, more than 100 years ago?
Morphy, right?
Paul Morphy, the great
it's-
American player Paul Morphy, was the one that actually recommended the black should play this. And that's why the name Morphy Defense is attached to this by A6. All right, so what did Ju do now on her fourth move?
She withdrew the bishop back to a4.
Okay, retreating it. Okay, now, what does black do now? What do you, actually, there's all kinds of choices here. We could actually, we could continue, we could play knight f6, good move, possible. But what Carissa played was what?
Okay,
You played.
so I played g6.
Now, this is rather interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, how many players are playing this? This is a playable variation. This is known, what is this known as? This is known-
Fianchetto variation, I
Huh?
guess.
Well, yes, it's a fianchetto defense deferred. Now, she could have actually played this, if she had not played a6, she could have actually played g6 right away,
yeah.
which the great Russian player Vasily Smyslov, there are games you'll find where he played g6 right away without playing a6. But all Chris is doing is delaying the fianchetto.
Yep.
That's why it's called the fianchetto defense deferred or delayed. Okay.
And something I thought was interesting was I was rewatching the coverage
Yes.
from the St. Louis Chess Club yesterday, and Grandmaster Alejandro Ramirez
Oh, yes.
was kind of critical of that.
He was
because
critical.
he said he thought that was a good surprise weapon, but that
He would not recommend it?
that Carissa was using it normally. That he thought that you were using it normally, and he thought it was going to backfire because he said that Ju Wenjun had already faced that in another game in the Cairns Cup already.
In round 4, Ju Wenjun faced it against Gunina.
Right.
Yeah. And
But
then,
Gunina did not play g6. She played knight ge7 first, then followed with g.
Okay.
but
Yes.
it ended up transposing.
It transposed, yes.
But Gunina didn't play it. I kind of prepared this in advance before the tournament and before I knew what the pairings were and stuff.
So you knew,
Yeah.
you were familiar with that round 4 game. That you knew that.
And then basically, I didn't think Gunina played the best.
Right.
And then Gunina did end up getting a good position. And then I wasn't sure if Ju would have spent the time to look at her round 4 game already, you know.
Okay.
So that's when I thought
So you
she might
decided-
just repeat it. And
Yeah.
then,
So you decided to play
yeah.
this.
And I had an
Well,
improvement.
yeah, the commentators thought that Ju Wenjun probably would have looked over her round 4 game and would have been prepared for this, so they were very surprised.
They were surprised.
Later on, she took a long time.
A long time.
Yeah,
Right.
a really long time.
Not too far down the road. She took 20 minutes or
Well,
something.
so what did Ju do? So what did Ju do in response to this?
Okay,
Yeah.
so D4.
So now we have a double attack on the e pawn.
Right.
So I take it.
So okay, let's see it actually. Let's see if it's presented on our screen. Here we see E takes D4. Yep, there it is. There's the capture on D4. All right, now what does White do now? Does White recapture or do something else?
She does, and she kind of offers up another pawn.
Now, why is she offering the C pawn? She's offering this pawn because what? For the pawn she's offering is to get a lead that would give her a lead in piece development.
Right.
If Carissa had taken the pawn on c3, she takes back, and she'd actually be ahead in piece development. Yeah. But Carissa doesn't. No, Carissa doesn't take that pawn, right? No. What does she do instead?
So I played bishop g7.
Okay, so you're just putting the bishop where it has to go, and now now it's her seventh move. She captures. C takes d4.
Yep.
We see it on the screen. Yep, there it is. C takes d4. All right, so it's now Carissa's seventh move. What does she do?
So then I played b5.
Attacks the bishop, forces the bishop now to move.
Yep. And
where does that bishop go? Does it go to c2 or b3?
Back to b3.
Goes to b3. So bishop b3.
Aiming at the king side.
Right. Okay. All right. So what does Carissa do now?
So now I develop my knight to e7. Right. So I bring it to f6, and there's like e5 stuff. Could be annoying.
That's the place that the knight belongs. Yes. Not. Yeah. Okay. So now it's White's move. Yeah. It's the ninth move. What does Ju do now on her ninth move?
Do you remember at what point she took a really long time?
This was all blitzed out, I believe.
This was all blitzed out at this point?
Yes, it was still pretty quick.
So d5, and this has been played before, right? This is known. Okay.
Yep.
I'm playing knight a5.
Knight a5, not e5. A5 attacking the light squared bishop.
Attacking the bishop.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what does White do now? It's White's move. It's the 10th move coming up.
Yeah. She plays bishop d2.
So instead of trying to save the light squared bishop,
right,
she chooses to bring out the bishop to d2 and attack the knight. But of course, Chris is going to respond by eliminating the light squared bishop, right?
So now I got the bishop pair. Right.
You have the bishop pair, yeah, which is
considered to be
desirable to have the bishop pair.
Yeah.
But White could have avoided this by just retreating, wasting a tempo, and brought the bishop back to c2.
But then if she was going to bring it back to c2, she would have brought it back after I played b5.
Oh, okay. You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would she bring it to b3 after? Yeah.
Yeah, and
she
then
could have brought it
c2.
immediately to c2. Yeah. All right.
This way she got to develop.
All right. So now Ju recaptures with the queen.
b3.
Now with the pawn. She's not gonna open up the All right. So queen is on b3. All right. So now what does Carissa do now?
So I'm going to play c5.
Okay, c5 is a big move?
Yeah, gain space in the center.
It does,
yes.
Okay. So after c5, Ju now, it's her 12th move coming up. What does she do?
She plays c3.
Bishop c3. Let's see that on our screen.
The end bishop.
She would love, in fact, White would love to eliminate the dark square bishops.
Sure, right.
Because that would actually render the dark squares weak here. Carissa cannot afford to have any exchange of bishops. So what does she do to prevent that?
I played f6, and this is sort of the key move.
That's a very important
move.
Yeah.
And you played that pretty quickly, right? You just already knew that.
So this was in my prepreparation before the tournament.
You had prepared for this.
Yeah, but it wasn't specifically for Ju. It was just like I said before the tournament. I was already preparing to use this line against someone. So.
Okay. Oh yes. So if you faced this, if somebody else played this line against you,
yeah, it was the same thing.
You were prepared for this. Okay. After you played f6, what does Ju now do on her 13th move? What does she? What is she fearful?
I think she's afraid of
this advance.
Of this.
Yes.
All right. I mean, so right she wants to stop that.
You know, she would like to develop her knight here, but if she does that, the bishop's going to get trapped.
The bishop will be trapped, so it can't do that.
So she plays a3 to cover that square.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. Do we see a3 on our screen? If we don't, we can give it a little time. Maybe we can see a3. But a3 was played. That was Ju's 13th move. It is now Chris's 13th move. Oh, by the way. Yeah, there's also a threat. It could be White threatening to play the pawn to d6. That could be annoying. Could be, but
yes.
Carissa beats Ju to the punch.
Right. Yes.
And she plays d6.
Right.
Very good move. Okay, d6. Okay, it's now White's 14th move. What does white do now on the 14th move?
Wasn't this the point where she took a
time?
really long time?
On the clock?
Yeah, which I thought was, well, she took a long time before A3 too.
Okay.
Probably like considering her playing D6 right away instead, which is like the main line, but it does get very sharp.
Oh, okay. So D6.
So D6 was the threat of
white was the main line?
Yes, instead of A3.
Okay.
I thought A3 was like a little bit too passive, and then it let me like consolidate my pawn structure.
Okay. So she now starts kingside action with H4.
Yep.
Okay.
But she can only go so far because she's not.
We see it on the screen.
She hasn't castled yet.
Now, what is your reply to this? What did you do?
So I just castled because well, like if she plays H5 and like opens up the H file, there's like not really much of attack at the moment, and then like her king is stuck in the center, and obviously like after that, like she can't castle queenside really, because like look at these pawns, you know, and I'll open up the files really quickly over there.
Okay. So what does white do now? Move 15 coming up. She is going to bring another piece into play.
Right. So now she's able to develop her knight to D2 because this isn't the threat anymore because it's covered.
Right. Okay. So knight on BD2, to which Carissa now plays what?
Queen E8. So the idea is I want to play C4 and then take on D5 because of this pawn's pin on the king.
That's right. Okay. So that'd be the threat.
Yeah.
C4 is the threat, followed by knight takes D.
Take here because it's
the
pinned.
pin. Okay. So that's an excellent move.
Were you still in preparation here?
No, I was out of preparation after A3.
Okay.
After A3. Oh, okay. Right.
All right. So it's now move 16 for white. And what does Ju do now?
She finally castles.
Okay, because
Yeah, so I developed bishop D7. I feel like this H4 move was like a little weakening by her, you know, and like a waste of a tempo if she wasn't going to go H5.
Right.
So after you played bishop D7, what does Ju do now on move 17?
She pulls her queen back to C2.
Yeah, so I think this was like a nice sort of maneuvering of her pieces. So I thought she wanted to play like B4 here to challenge my pawn center.
All right,
so
what
then I
did
played
you do?
rook C8 in preparation of that.
And you have a threat. Aren't you threatening to advance the pawn to B4?
Yes, exactly.
That actually be threatening to win a piece.
This is pinned.
So that's the threat with rook being played to rook C8. She cannot allow a B3. Well, no. So what does she do in response to your move? She plays
B3.
B3. Okay. Yeah.
So like I said, I think it's like a nice remaneuvering of pieces. Now her bishop gets to stay on the long diagonal.
Right. Okay. Okay. So what did you do now after she played B3?
So then I played H6. So I have like some sort of G5 ideas coming, Queen H5 sort of stuff, maybe.
Okay, so this pawn up and
supports the advance of the G pawn. Okay. Okay. So after you played H6, she now does what on the queen side on move 19?
She plays A4.
All right.
So then I didn't want to give her the A file, and I didn't want to like fix the pawn structure with B4 either, because then like B4, then like bishop back, and then this white knight gets a good square on C4.
You would vacate the square for the knight. So you wanted to stop that.
So then I wanted to keep my pawn on B5 here, so I played rook A8 in preparation for when she opened up the file.
All right.
So this becomes a battle in the game, the A file.
The A file.
Yeah.
All right.
And she has like a slight advantage here on the A file because her bishop's like protecting the rook, and we can see later in the game like she gets to double her pieces along the A file.
On the A file.
But in the end, you ended up capturing the A file, didn't you?
Well,
yeah, because her pieces ended up being like driven back.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So after you played rook A8, what did you play now on?
Okay, so you played.
Oh, she captured.
Takes B5.
All right.
And you
took back. Okay, we'll see it. A takes B5. All right. So it's move 21 coming up. Yeah. What does white do now on move 21?
So now she trades.
She trades. Okay.
So then I trade.
Okay. Okay. We may have to slow down to let our director follow this, you know. So we have now the queen recaptures the rook on A8. Okay, we'll see that.
Rook takes, yeah.
Is that where the queen is? Well, the queen, we'll get there.
Now the
All
queen
right.
takes.
All right, so queen takes on,
Yep.
there it is. Now we see queen captures on A8, queen takes A8, and now we have white playing what? Attacking the queen.
Rook A1.
Okay,
So
let's see
like
that.
Carissa
Let's
said,
see that.
this
Yeah, we see it. Rook
bishop
A1.
is covering the rook.
Queen under attack, so the queen has to move to save
Yeah.
itself. So where does the queen
So
go?
I play queen B7.
Okay, we'll see that. We'll see. Yeah, there it is. Queen B7.
Yeah. So now I'm ready to challenge the A file again with rook A8.
All right. So now what? Okay. So now she plays the queen. Drew does over to A2. So she.
Yes.
So she controls. So she controls the A file.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So she has total control of the A file.
Okay.
All right. So what do you do after she plays queen A2?
So now I play knight C8, and then the idea is like she has control of the A file, but since she can't reach the 7th rank, there's not much she can do with it.
That's right. Because the knight's there to stop her from getting to the 7th rank.
And then also like the only pawn she can really attack is this D pawn here, but since my knight's protecting it, and like these pawns on C5 and B5 are stopping her pieces from coming in to attack the D6 pawn too.
All right. So what did she do? Now it's her.
So if you hadn't put the knight there, she was probably
the
going
queen
to
could
bring
have
the
come down
queen
there.
down,
Yeah.
She
right?
probably would have come
Yeah.
down with the queen, but that stops the
Right.
queen from going to A7.
Now she can come down to A6, but I think that the end game is always going to be better for me.
Yeah. So she chooses
of the
not to do
pawn
that. She's not
structure.
going to bring the queen down to A6. Instead, she's going to do a remaneuver with the knight. The knight on F3 is going to be remaneuvered here. Does she
Okay.
play what?
All right,
91.
91 first.
Okay.
So now I think she wanted to go to like D3 or
D3,
C2 maybe.
With the knight in
Yeah.
either one of these.
Okay. So with the knight on E1, what did you do?
Yeah, so this is where I think I start like really capturing some space. So first B4.
Okay. Before 4. Now white only has one move here.
Right.
The bishop can only save itself
Bishop
by
back
playing
to
B2.
B2. Yeah.
Bishop B2, and now this beautiful white squared bishop goes to B5. What a great square to be on.
And now you can really see how like white's missing her light squared bishop
Yep.
that I won
right.
earlier in the opening.
Right.
All right, so
So
bishop
that's the
B5.
thing. She has no bishop to oppose on the light squares. So
Okay. And now Jew, on the move 26, plays what?
So knight to C2. So that was part of the reason for
Now,
bringing
was
it
this
back.
good? Now, was this good now? Because this knight can come under attack, can it not?
Yes.
Is that what you did?
So I play bishop D3.
Attacks the knight, the knight's unprotected.
Right.
So the bishop going to D3 is now going to force something about remaneuvering that knight.
Right.
So the knight goes to
Knight
E3.
to E3.
Yep, we see it on our board here, knight E3. Yep.
So now I play queen E7 to attack the pawn on E4.
We got a double attack on the
Double
E-pawn.
attack on that pawn.
Okay, but Jew is not concerned about defending that again because there's something tactical here. What does she do? It's her 28th move.
28th move.
She brings the rook over to E1. Is that enticing black to take the pawn on E4? That would be a mistake, would it not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
before we actually, let's go to the board now. Let's go to let's show our viewers. If you had taken the pawn on E4, let's see, bishop takes E4, okay, knight takes
Knight takes-
E4,
yeah.
queen takes E4.
wait,
We're just going to show what happens if
What
you
would
do.
happen? We're going to show what would happen.
okay.
Okay, now what's going to happen now? Oh, well then we just nothing.
Wait, no, I think
Yeah, you could actually take it.
no. White just moves the E knight away.
Oh, just move. Oh, yeah, right. All you do is just sit here,
So,
and then and just
yeah.
move the knight. Yeah, the knight on E3. Just move it actually back to F1, or it's fine.
To pin the bishop
Yeah, and
and
now
win it.
this is now attacked twice, and the other way to defend it against F5,
Pawn here, but
and then
white would-
EF3 with
well, actually, it gets a little tactical here. So if we play F5, then she plays F3,
F3.
right?
Yeah.
Then I can take on H4. And then the idea is if she takes on E4, then the rook is hanging.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
So I think the best for
oh, so
white,
this is
but
so
the best for white is knight C2
yeah, not F1.
Knight
Yeah.
to protect the rook.
Protected. Okay.
Okay.
So there's tactics here.
Yeah, there are
Okay, so
tactics.
this was dangerous.
Yes.
So let's put the knight back on E3.
But I thought she wouldn't miss this, so that's
Okay.
why.
So is there a pawn on E4? Okay. So this is the position. Okay. So after rook E1, she played rook E1. What did you do in response to rook e1? It's your 28th move coming up?
Yeah, so one of her knights wants to go c4, so I played knight b6.
Okay, we see knight b6. Yep, there we see it. Knight b6 being played.
Now I'm trying to trap the queen with rook a8.
Okay.
Wow.
Now what does Ju do? It's now move 29 coming up.
Right, so like Carissa said, the threat is that rook comes over, this queen has no place to go.
Yeah, right. So she has to.
She sees that.
So that's the only move. That's her only move to save the queen.
So then I play rook a8. Now I have control.
Now she has the.
Okay, so the queen is now forced to move with the rook on a8 attacking it. Where does the queen go?
She plays queen c1.
Okay, queen c1. Yep, then we see it.
So now I play h5, because she wants to play h5.
She wants to play h5.
Then f5 square is weak.
Okay.
So instead of playing rook a2 right away, h5 first was better, I thought.
All right, so it's move 31 coming up.
This is going to become dangerous, right? The
yes. Like this bishop will get active on this diagonal. Because like I don't want to play f5, because I think like this bishop is pretty bad on b2. Like it has this nice diagonal, right? But it's not like it can really go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. No, the bishop is nicely placed.
But she's saying this one is.
Because I'm controlling all the squares along the diagonal.
Right. So this bishop has nowhere to go now.
All right. So what does Ju do now? It's her 31st move coming up.
Right.
What does she do? She plays the knight, knight on e3
to c4.
To c4. Okay. And now she's attacking the knight on b6, which more or less forces you to capture.
Yes.
Knight takes c4, and now she recaptures. Knight takes c4, which allows you to do what? What do you do now on your 32nd move?
Now I play rook a2.
Yep. Your rook comes down to the 7th rank. Yep. With a good spot. You're now on the 7th rank. A nice place to be.
Now you can see like how unfortunate White's bishop is placed, because like it's hard for her to get rid of my d3 bishop, right? Because if she plays like queen d1, then I take on c4, and then b2 is hanging.
Oh, you're right. That's right. She can't do
bishop.
that. So she can't move that queen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what does she do now? So what does Ju do now? Move 33. She plays what?
She plays g3.
G3. All right. So now you're going to carry out a plan, playing the king to h7, which is good to support the placement of that dark squared bishop on h6.
So now I'm finding bishop h6, and then like we mentioned earlier, if the queen moves away, then I take on c4, and then I take on b2.
Yeah, so that's the threat. So there is a threat, but what does she do in response to your king h7? She now comes back.
Knight d2.
Knight d2. All right.
So I continue with my plan anyway.
Your plan is there. Okay, good. Bishop h6 is played.
Now, didn't you say at this point you felt like you had a chance of winning?
Yeah.
In this position?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I was better beforehand.
Yeah,
like, I thought I was better beforehand, but like here, I thought like I had good winning chances. Or like there was no way for me to lose the position.
So what did she do in response to your bishop h6? She played what? On move 35, she blocked. She's playing f4, blocks the attack, the pin knight. So after f4, what did you do?
Well, obviously I was looking at like these queen d7 moves, right? To try to expose the light squares that are weak. But then after rook e3, I think she protects everything, so I have to play. So I think this was best, queen a7.
Well, because now you have a threat
of c4 check.
c4 discover check, followed by the advance to pawn to c3, winning a piece.
And she can never play like rook e3 because, like I mentioned, then c4.
All right, so she cannot allow that pawn to be advanced to
rook e3.
c4.
So
I recall thinking that was a really nice move because
that's an excellent move. Queen a7 is excellent
because it's the sort of thing that would never occur to me. I don't.
So the pawn on c5 cannot be allowed to advance to c4 with a discovered check, which would lose a piece for white. So what does she do instead?
So she plays knight c4.
Okay, let's see that. We'll see that actually on our board there. Knight c4. Yeah, it is. Knight is on c4 now. No advance to the c pawn. So what does what do you do? After
so now I play queen d7.
Back.
Now this whole maneuver, playing first the queen over to a7, threatening the advance with the discover check, and then coming back for penetration on this side.
Right.
It's like we're threatening
here.
there, even the g4.
Yeah. So the idea is like I provoke the knight to come to c4, right? And then after she plays.
Yeah. All right. So what does she play now? After you play queen d7.
She plays rook e3.
Okay. Attacking the light square bishop
Yes.
on d3. Okay.
And then the idea is like I'm not really losing a tempo by moving the bishop because I forced an exchange.
And she has to take with the pawn, not with the queen, because she's tied down. The queen is doing work
queen's
here,
defending
the bishop on b2.
And then it's already. I think that this pawn structure is already like a lot better for me just because of this passed b pawn.
You got a passed pawn here.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a superior position for you because of the passed pawn. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So now.
So now you come in, and now we have a new threat.
So I'm planning to take on f4.
F4, yes, because of the pin. She cannot allow that bishop.
Right.
Yeah.
So this bishop can take because that pawn is pinned. So.
So after you play queen g4, which is your 33rd move, what does she do? She has to get off this pin.
She breaks the pin. So now if she captures, she can capture back.
Yes.
But that doesn't stop you. Now here's a case where Chris is now seeing far in advance here the consequences of this. She now plays what a tactician would play. A Paul Morphy would play this. A Bobby Fischer would play this. A Boris Spassky, a Gary Kasparov would play this in an instant, in a nanosecond. Yeah. What Carissa played was now bishop takes f4.
Yeah.
Right.
So I spent a while on this move just because I had to double check that
And
worked,
look at
right?
this. Yeah, right.
Was this where the point where you had to see the rook pinning the bishop at the end of the combination?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was what. So like in the previous position, I could have taken right away, and then that would have been more forcing instead of queen g4. But then the problem was, I wasn't sure what to do after. Well, we can get into it with the lines later.
Yeah, but this is a safe. This is a safer route. This is more. It's a safer route to victory. All right. So what does she? So what? Now she has no choice because you're pinning the rook and the queen. It's going to cost her.
So she takes.
She takes f4, and now you take queen takes h4 check. We'll see it on our board if we can see it. Well, sometimes these things go quickly. So she's now in check. The king now has to move, and the king goes where? G1.
G1.
Okay.
So now I check again.
On G4, let's see. Okay. All right. King is checked again.
Yeah.
The king has to move again. Where does it go?
So back.
Back.
Otherwise, I mean, if she goes here,
then I take with check.
She would take with check. So here, at least it's not check.
Right. But she chooses not. She goes to h1 instead. That was her 42nd move. Carissa just took the pawn on f4. Queen takes f4. So now what does Ju do on her 43rd move? It's her 43rd move.
Yeah.
She's pinned here, first of all.
So now it's like really interesting here, I think, because all her pieces are too tangled up, right? It's like this queen is protecting the rook and the bishop.
Bishop and rook.
So the only thing that she can really do is, well, she can't move this bishop anywhere because then h2 would be mate, right?
Yeah.
So then she has to move the rook, but then the funny thing is that there are like no good squares for her rook to move to. So in my calculations, before I played queen g4, I saw this position, right? And then I thought that she could play rook b3, and that's like...
Rook b3?
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And that's like the one safe square where I don't have any...
This was a better move.
Well, not quite.
Not quite.
So this is what I missed, right?
Because
I was looking at all these forcing moves, but then I realized I could just simply exchange queens.
Oh, and then pin
the bishop, and then like.
And then win the bishop.
This great pawn structure stops the rook from being able to protect the bishop.
Yeah.
So this was what I missed earlier, before I played queen g4, and then afterwards I saw this line and I realized I was completely winning.
This wins. This wins also.
Yes.
Right.
All right. So even if she had played rook b3, you exchange queens. Pin the bishop.
And all like the other moves fail tactically to like some variation of a queen f2 or something like that.
Okay.
So the thing is, once you win this bishop back, you're 3 pawns up.
Yep.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
So what did she play here? She played the queen over to attack the rook. Queen B1.
Attack the rook, right?
Okay, but.
So now I take the bishop
All
first.
right, let's see if we can see if rook takes B2. Yep, there we see rook takes B2, and now the queen
takes
takes B2, okay, which allows Carissa now to take the rook on E3. Queen takes E3. She's how many pawns? She's 3 pawns ahead.
3 pawns ahead.
She has pass pawns galore here. Both queen side, king side, but the dangerous pass pawn is the one on the B file.
Right.
That's the dangerous one. All right, so what does Jude do now?
Yeah, so we should probably say that the Jew's only hope now is a perpetual check, which can happen in queen and pawn endgames where the weaker side can just keep checking the king and get it.
If that pawn were actually on H, there's a pawn on H5 instead of H6. If that pawn were on H6, yes, it could present a problem.
Right,
yes.
if it
but
were,
that allows.
Yeah, but then I would have just played H5.
Yes, right. But if H5, right.
Right.
To create escape.
Yes.
Escape square. So she took, now, Jude now took queen takes F6, move 45, to which Carissa responded.
So I take with check first.
Okay, let's see it on our board here. Queen takes E4 check. King has to move. Where does the king go?
H2.
H2. Ah. Does that mean it's time to do something like promoting, trying to promote?
Yes.
What does Carissa do?
So I calculated like all her checks in advance, and then the problem is that like because of my queen and like my pawns, I'm able to block them pretty easily. So I played B3.
It's time. Yeah, pass pawns need to be pushed. Yeah.
So you saw that she was going to run out of checks eventually.
And you saw that you were going to zigzag your way up toward her king.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to see how she zigzags up toward the.
Just because like my queen is so nicely placed on E4 that I'm able to like block all the checks that she had.
All right. So what did? So in response to your B3, what did you do now on move set 47? Check.
In desperation, this is all she's got.
And that follows. You play King H6.
King H6.
So checks aren't really hard to calculate just because like she doesn't have that many.
Okay, so she continues with the checking. She has to just try to harass the king.
So this is like her only check. Then I played King G5.
Okay, let's see it. We can see it on the board here. Queen. Okay, so your king is on G5. If she has to continue with checks, and she does it how? On move 49?
Well, I should say that when you say that there's not that, it's easy to calculate because there's not that many checks. It's easy for you to calculate.
Oh, I just meant like because white only has like 1 check in each of these positions, right? So like Queen D8 is the only check that she has.
The only check white has is on D8. Queen D8 check, and that's what she did. Queen D8 check. And Carissa now does what?
So now I played King F5.
King F5.
Right.
Let's see if we're going to, maybe we can see this. Do we see King F? Yeah, is that King F5?
Yep, that's right.
King F5, we do see it on the board.
So now it's Queen D7 check. So the checks keep coming.
So now I played King E5.
Okay, skipping in there.
So she has like a few checks here like on the E file, but then I run my king to D4 and then D3 and then I'm safe.
Yes, right.
So that's why Queen G7 is like the forced
So she played
check.
Queen G7 check.
Queen G7 checks. Just so you can't do that.
Yeah.
Right, so you go
King
to
F4.
So after King F4, what does she do? She checks again?
Checks keep coming. Queen F6 check.
Okay. All right.
So if she played like Queen F7 or something, then I would have run to E3.
All right.
But now the idea is that she has like Queen C3 and stuff. Okay, so after King F4.
So now you played the king. Your king now moves to where? What square?
Wait. Okay, so then I played King G4, right?
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
And now she's run out of checks.
Right.
So now it's Queen E6 check, right?
I believe she took the pawn on D6.
She put with checks. Did she take it? Yes. She took the, no, she checked.
Oh wait, she did check
She played
first,
on
you're
E6.
right.
No, she did check. Queen E6 check was her move.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I could exchange here, and then the end game would be totally winning. But then Queen F5, I thought was. Did I play Queen F5?
You played,
Yes, you did.
You played Queen F5.
So Queen F5, like I said.
Yeah. So I guess we should say,
Oh wait, hold it.
if you had exchanged, you would queen first, and then she would queen.
Yes.
But you're saying it would be a winning endgame.
It would be a winning endgame anyway, yeah. But I thought that like, why let her promote too, you know?
Right.
So
So
Queen
instead
F5.
you played
Queen F5.
Queen F5, and now she took
This
the
is
pawn
where
on
she
D6
takes-
check. Let's see if we see
Well, it's
that on
not.
the
It's
board
not.
there.
It's Queen takes D6, but it's not check.
Yeah. Queen D6, yeah, check.
Not check.
Not check.
Not check.
Not,
So,
okay, all right,
so that's critical.
all right.
So now,
Yes. After Queen E2, I forget exactly what I saw, but like she would run out of checks eventually if she didn't take the pawn.
if she had gone here,
Mm-hmm.
check.
Oh, check that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let me think. I think I would have.
Well,
We've got plenty of time.
yeah, we do.
Hang on. I know for sure that this isn't. So if Queen F3 block, right?
If
Then
you play Queen F3,
Yeah, but this,
she would have come back, right?
back to you with the check on E6. If you block.
yes, but then I come King G5, then she checks on E7, then I hide on H6. So let's play it out, right?
All right, okay, let's see this.
I'm sure you'll remember
Check,
it.
Queen
Queen
E6
E6.
check, the king goes to
King goes
G5.
here, yeah.
Yes.
Then
So
she
this
checks
is the
on-
only check, right?
Yeah.
And then I hide to H6.
And now she has there's no more checks.
Now she can't check here
There's
because
no
the
check.
queen's covered.
Yeah, and she
right.
can't check here because Queen
Right,
covers
yeah.
it
Right,
too.
so that's, yeah, so
Now we're-
that's how
yeah,
you would stop
okay.
that.
So you would see that, okay.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's go back to the position, if we get back to the position. The queen is actually checking,
Right, so she had just
so
blocked,
she
right.
just, she had just taken the pawn on
took,
D6 check.
So-
The king, so June now moves the king,
well, now it's Carissa's move.
oh, I'm sorry,
This
yes,
is
right.
where Carissa
Oh,
came down.
she's the one, now it's Carissa's turn to start checking.
Start the
Yeah.
checks, yeah.
So what did you do now? You came down
So
with
now,
the check?
yeah, so now I'm able to force an exchange of queens.
King only has one move, yeah, right.
Right.
King
King has to go to
H1,
H1.
right?
And I check again.
Check there. There's actually, well, there's two squares to go to, either G1 or H2.
H2
Either-
is gonna,
Prolongs the
For a
angle.
lot, yes, right.
Yes.
But this shortens it because she chose to play King G1, which June did on move
that-
57.
Wait, I think
Oh,
she
no,
played
she
Queen
did-
H2.
no, she did
sorry,
play-
no, Queen
Yeah.
play
H3.
H2,
Oh,
right.
oh,
So
sorry,
she
did
was
play, yeah.
forcing me to find it. So Queen H3. Now
Oh, that's
King
right.
G1
Play
is
Queen H3
forced.
check.
So now,
Now comes
Queen G3.
check.
Mm-hmm.
And now
Check.
Queen's would be forced.
so she resigned here, but just
Yes.
because she has to do
Take.
that, take,
And then my pawn promotes with checkmate.
right. So
Right.
it's
And ahead
push,
of her
push,
too.
and that's mate.
Queen.
That would be mate.
Okay.
So she
Yes.
never gets to promote.
So we actually have a still photo from the final position. If Darren could actually dig that photo, here it is. Here's the resignation. But there's another. But there's a. Is this actually the final? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it is. We see now Chris's queen on G3 giving check, and June on the left is extending her hand in resignation. So this was a 50.
Carissa was hiding her smile with
Yeah,
her
exactly.
sweatshirt.
So this was
Yeah.
this was a 57 move game, a long game, the longest game we've ever presented on Chess Chat. But this was quite an accomplishment. And again, Carissa was the spoiler. By winning this game,
Right.
upsetting the world's women champion, she deprived Zhu Wenjun from either winning or tying for first, because this cost her dearly
Yeah.
by losing this. Yeah. So this was quite an accomplishment. And again, we should point out to our viewers that, that after this tournament was finished, I think it was February 23rd, was the third week in February. At the end of February, there was the World Chess Federation, more commonly known by FIDE, had a big meeting, a congress, what they call it, in Abu Dhabi, United Emirates, and they made it official. They now made her an international master. Now, a lot of people in the chess world, or people not in the chess world, don't understand that the title of international master is more prestigious, is more important than the title of women grandmaster.
Yeah.
There are different titles. There is the outright title grandmaster, which is really the highest, grandmaster. And that is actually what Carissa is now striving for. She needs to get what they call norms. She has to play in events of at least
Nine rounds, yeah.
And you need to play foreign players.
Yeah,
A number
four
of
foreigners
foreigners
of 3 different
of
federations.
3 different federations. If she does this 3 times, if you get 3 grandmaster norms,
Yeah.
the World Chess Federation will be awarding her the grandmaster title,
Right.
which all the other participants in this tournament that she played in St. Louis already have. But so Carissa's now, that's her goal. Her objective is actually to, and there are some grandmaster norm tournaments coming up.
Yeah.
For example, this U.S. Women's has to be a grandmaster, no? I mean, is it not a?
No, because there's no GMs.
Oh, that's right. It's because it's a
well, actually, it's funny because because the U.S. championships or like national championships can be norm tournaments despite the foreigners.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But the problem is that there's only one grandmaster.
Which is Irina.
Irina Crush is the only
so you
grandmaster in the
three
field.
grandmasters, and you also need to like achieve a performance rating of a 2600 plus.
Yeah. But now, what's the story now? I understand we got the word that you're playing now in the World Olympic, the Olympiad, the Olympics. Is that still on? You know, with this coronavirus fear and threat, is there talk about, for example, canceling or postponing the World Olympiad? There's a lot of talk being posted on Facebook.
Yeah,
on various chess sites.
I mean, if there is, I don't personally know about it. I'm hoping that coronavirus won't be a threat by then, hopefully.
Now, where is actually this year's World Olympiad being played?
Moscow.
Moscow?
Mm-hmm.
Now, are you on the team?
You're on
so the official rating list comes out after U.S. Women's, but I think that I should be on the team. Like right now, I'm close behind Zatonsky and Irina.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you feel you belong on that team?
Yeah.
And what are there, 5?
Yeah,
Five
so there's
players?
5 players. Right now I'm like ranked 3rd in the U.S. And then behind me is Tatev and Annie, who I think, who will be like the other members of the team.
And Annie Wang, yeah. But your big next event for Carissa naturally is the U.S. Women's Championship, which starts a month from today. April 9th, I think, is the opening ceremony. And again, that's the real test. I mean,
I think this was a real test.
Well, no, this was the ultimate test, because that has to give you a great thrill to beat the women's world champion. And as a result of her beating the women's world champion, Ju Wen-jun, who was ranked number 2 in the world among women, dropped. You actually caused her to drop her world ranking from 2nd down to 4th. You know who actually now? Who is the number 1, the highest rated woman player in the world?
So Ho Yifan.
Ho Yifan, also from China, she was women's world champion for years.
Until she stopped competing.
She stopped altogether competing.
In the women's world championship, I believe.
She would like to be like a Judith Polgar. Judith Polgar also does not like to compete with women. Now her sister Susan became women's world champion. I forget what year it was. But her sister Judith says, no, I want to compete with the men.
Right.
By the way, this U.S. Women's Championship, which starts next month in St. Louis, it runs concurrently with the U.S. Championship. A lot of people make the mistake of calling that the U.S. Men's Championship, because it's really a championship to anybody, men and women. If they're women strong enough, they could play in the U.S. Championship, but that's hard to do. We really, there are no right now any women strong enough to play with the men.
American women, yeah.
American women, but again, this is a real test. What's the format for this U.S. Women's Championship? Is the same? It's a 10-player round robin.
12 players.
Oh, they increased it?
I think it's always been 12 players.
Oh, really? Maybe it's 12 players. I'm confusing with the.
Yeah, 12 players. I think it was like top 10 and then like 2 wild cards.
Okay.
Something like that, yeah.
So who are some of the players you expect to face now? Some of these people you faced last year, but give out some of the names of people. Irina Crush is going to be there.
Yes, Irina Crush, Anna Zatonsky, Tatev Abrahamian, Annie Wang, Jennifer Yu, and I think Emily Nguyen.
Emily Nguyen, Yes. So basically, it's the same ones who play that. Anyone new? Is anybody who's making their debut in this year's U.S. Women's Championship who wasn't there last year? It's basically the same players?
I think it's the same players, although the wild cards I think they'll be new.
So there'll be some wild cards.
Yeah, but they're not, like the names aren't released yet, so I don't know.
That's what I was going to say, I don't think they've
So what was your impression now of, you made your debut in this Cairns Cup. You didn't play last year, but what is actually your impression of the St. Louis Chess Club? You know, it's the premier chess club in the country, the most prestigious events. You know, actually, in the end of August, the beginning of September, they're going to be holding the Singfield Cup, you know, after in honor of Rex Singfield, the founder of the St. Louis Chess Club. But what is your impression of the St. Louis Chess Club as a chess club? Does it really, it deserves the rank of being the #1 chess club in the country?
So, yeah, I've been there like...
How many times?
A lot of times. Like, besides the U.S. championships, I've been there for like almost every U.S. junior girls they've had. Yeah. Okay. And then also St. Louis does some norm events too. I think like a GM norm and the IM norm invitational, like how many times? At least like once every season.
So you're
fall,
quite
winter,
familiar
spring.
with the St. Louis Chess Club.
Yeah.
It's like a home, it's like your
It's like home away from home, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I like it a lot there. Like, the atmosphere is great. The staff is really nice too.
All right, so it is really a well-run chess club. And
yeah,
again,
I've like known the people there for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
So.
And again, we have to thank, the chess community has to thank the Singfields, both Rex and his wife Jean, Dr. Jean Singfield, who have become, who are philanthropists. They've made huge donations to chess, but to other endeavors like music and the arts and education. And again, Jean, you know, if you did a little background on Jean, she herself is a musician. She actually played. She's a string bass player. Here's a photo. Let's show the photo. On this photo, we have Rex Singfield on the left, standing next to his wife, this Jean Singfield. And there you are, next to Jean, standing next to Jean. And it's your father, Carissa Yip, who actually taught you the game of chess when you were 6 years old?
When I was 6.
6. And of course, you realize, Carissa, you know when she joined the club? The first time she appeared at the Washington Chess Club at Fitchburg State University, I have the exact date, it was December 1st, 2010.
Oh, really?
It was 2000, no, hold on. Yes, 2010, because you had started to play at the...
yes.
The first tournament she played in was the Metro West Chess Club in Natick.
In November.
In November.
Yeah.
Then you played the following month, the same month she played at our club, you played at the Boylston Chess Club. Yeah, she's played, and then you played at Billerica.
Yeah.
There's a very active chess. So you played actually in how many? 4 different clubs: Metro West, Boylston,
yeah,
Billerica.
it was because I wanted to play in like the Spiegel Cup in February.
Yes.
But I still had a provisional rating.
Oh, so you
I needed to get like my 30 games, so that's why I played so much.
That's why you were playing all these clubs.
Yes. No, and I remember like we were calculating how many games I would need. Yeah, in the analysis room to make it.
Okay, so that's how she. So for somebody who started playing basically, 10 years? Well, not even quite 10 years. It was November. Right, at the club, at Metro West, you started actually in November.
When I was 7, yeah.
Right, yeah. So you've come a long way, you know, in less than 10 years to, you know, to be one of the top, you know, women players of the country.
Yeah.
And at one time, didn't you actually, your rating was the #1? You were the highest rated woman player in the country at one time?
Yeah, in September. Like my high was 24-25. Yeah, now I'm 24-20, so I'm like 5 points away again from reaching my high.
But again, we have to root for Carissa now to get these Grandmaster norms.
So I have one quick question. So, so you're taking a year off of school, right? You're taking a gap year. So now are you going to have a chance to play in any Grandmaster norm events before school starts again in September?
So I already played in a few. In December, I played in like this Grandmaster norm invitational, and I didn't do so well. And then in January, I played in another Grandmaster norm invitational, and then I missed the norm by like a point. So I got like 5.5. I needed 6.5.
Right.
Okay.
And then as for any more norm tournaments, I don't believe there are any like invitationals coming up.
Okay.
But some open tournaments for sure where I can get norm chances.
Okay.
Well,
and then also Olympiad.
Well, it's gonna take time. You know, you're eager to get the norms, but you know, like with the other, I'm sure the other females who have Grandmaster titles, you know, it took them time to work up and get their Grandmaster title. Yeah. So, but again, she's ambitious. She's talented, and I predict, you and I predict, that she will attain that title, you know, within a matter of
I'll predict women's world champion.
Oh yeah, well, I'm predicting that she will be contender for the women's world championship. That you and I agree on.
I predict she will be.
So I hope our Chess Chat fans enjoyed the game that Carissa presented to us. Her defeat of the women's world champion Ju Wen-jun at the second Cannes Cup in St. Louis, and we hope that your future endeavors, accomplishments bring you back to Chess Chat for a future show.
Thank you.
So thank you for being with us.
When you become a grandmaster.
Exactly. We'll be here rooting for you all the way. Thank you again, Carissa.
Thank you.
Good having you on.